All right, so hi, good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here on time. I'm going to start the class with all of you. So Camila, Rodrigo, Reader, Mauricio, I see you over there, and one more joined, Joanna. Great, thanks again, guys, for being here. Let's begin today's class by checking. There was only one or two more writing exercises that I needed to check. I'm going to do it very briefly because I already checked once. I'm going to give you the feedback, and again, it's important that if you have your writing exercises checked and graded a certain way, you can pay attention here because also some of these recommendations can be useful for you. All right, in case you have some questions about punctuation marks, remember this is something extra we are doing because I realized that when you get to A13, many people don't know how to use these punctuation marks and these details. So it's important to try to cover this starting at least in A10, A11, so that when you get to A13, you have an idea, right? A very good idea of what you have to do. So Joanna, this was yours. I already checked this by correcting some things in bold letter. In the first part, you said last 2 weeks. So I want to say what you meant by that, Joanna. There you wanted to say like en las últimas 2 semanas, or did you wanted to say hace 2 semanas? What was your idea there, Joanna?
Hace 2 semanas.
Okay, so you're not going to say last, then the correction is in parentheses, Joanna. You're going to say 2 weeks ago. All right, that's hace 2 semanas, right? 2 weeks ago and comma. Good. So 2 weeks ago, I was going to, right, instead of I was going to visit. All right, I was going to visit my friend. When there, you need a subject. Okay, you didn't say anything. It was like this. When saw a drunk person, right? But you need to say when I saw. Okay, the subject. When I saw a drunk person talking alone. Okay. Now you had while. If while is connected to the previous idea, and it seems that it is, Joanna, then you are not going to use comma. Okay, no comma when the first idea is connected to the second idea with while. Okay, there you don't use comma. Now here you said her wife, but here is it her or his wife? Is it the wife of a girl or is it the wife of a boy?
Mm, her later. Mm, she is wife. Okay. He is.
His would be right, because if you say her, you're telling me that two women are married, right? And it's possible, okay? Of course it's possible, but you're saying it's wife and wife, all right? But if you want to say it's the wife of a man, then it's going to be husband wife. So it's not her, it has to be his, right? Because his is for men, but it's his wife, all right, of this drunk person, I imagine. Comma, so very good, comma. So she decided to leave. That's the end of your sentence, Joanna. So you don't use comma, you have to use semicolon or period. Okay, at the end of a complete idea, no comma, semicolon or period. Okay, semicolon is that one, it's okay, or period is that one, it's also okay, but with capital letter. All right, then she was taking a taxi while I took, but remember, this is not like that. It's take, took, taken, right? Take, took, taken. So here, instead of took, you're going to say took. And my advice is the following, Joanna. After a while, you have past continuous. While I was taking a bus. That's one option. But if you want to use the past, the simple past or the past simple, it's better if you use when. Okay? She was taking a taxi when I took a bus to arrive. Okay, instead of for arriving, to arrive or to go could be. All right, directly to arrive or to go to my friend's house, something like that. And here and in this part, sorry, at home, my friend. No, you're going to say at my friend's house, right? That formula. And that's it, Joanna. Do you have any questions about these corrections? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, thank you.
Okay, no, thank you very much. And I think that's going to be it. You also have yours, Gilbert. I didn't check it, so I'm going to check it now. Read yours, please, Gilbert. Read your idea, your writing exercise.
Last week, I was waiting for my friends to go out to a party when my father phone rang. While my father was on the phone, my friend arrived at my house. So my father complained to me about why I didn't come when the doorbell rang at my house. I opened the door and it was my friend. After that, we go in the car and went to the park.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. Good, good. I think you're using a lot of the punctuation rules, the structures that we were using, and it's very, very good, very interesting, Gilbert. My only observations are going to be the first part is great, right? Simple past continuous, pam, 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 when in simple past. Great, period, good. While then you have an idea with be, it's correct. Here again, it's advisable to use past continuous, but it's working good. My friend arrived at my house. All right. So my father, it seems that in this case, so a Gilbert, so can be used at the beginning of an idea, right? So as I was telling you, okay, if you're using so in that way, yes, you can use so after period and with a comma. Okay, so as I was telling you, but in this case, I think it's not that so. You're not starting
Then,
something here. You're not starting an idea. It's like a consequence. And if
mm,
so is used as a consequence of an action, Gilbert, it's better if you use with semicolon or a comma. But as you have many commas, only semicolon. All right. So my father complained to me about why I didn't come. When, if this is connected, let me see. So my father complained to me about why I didn't come when the doorbell rang at my house. So when is connected to the previous idea, Gilbert, it seems to be the case, then you don't need comma before when, right?
mm,
Because it's connected. When is in the middle, no comma. Rang at my house, okay, at my house, in my house. Good, I opened the door. That's one complete idea. I opened the door. It is a different subject, so you're going to use comma here before and. Okay, so if you have two ideas and two different subjects like this one, I, and here you have it, then you're going to use comma. I opened the door, comma, and it was my friend. After that, comma, great. We got the car, all right, and went here. You don't need comma because you don't have subject. This is the same subject, right? I think that's it, Gilbert. I don't have any observations besides those ones. Do you have any questions about those corrections, Gilbert? Let me know, please. Great. Thank you very much. So that's it. That's something that was missing. Thank you for being patient, the rest of you. I'm going to try to work this also. It was only going to be on Fridays, but it's a good idea to work these writing exercises as much as we can. But now let's start with the new lesson. And again, I'm going to ask you some questions. The first one is going to be for you, please, Mauricio. I'm going to start with you this time. Report the speech imperative. Let's analyze first imperative. What is an imperative for you, Mauricio? And try to give me an example, please.
Teacher, imperative is like something is something that is that you're talking about, but you are not talking about it direct um, by a way that is direct.
And what example can you give me of an imperative, Mauricio?
I was running while he took the door.
And in that idea that you're giving me, where exactly can you locate the imperative over there, Mauricio? What do you say? What is the main element over there that you consider to be the imperative?
The action that he took the door.
Okay, we're going to analyze that one. Okay, Mauricio, thank you very much. I'm going to continue, all right? I'm going to keep asking, and we're going to get to what this is. Now, Camila, with you, again, you can agree with Mauricio and say, yeah, it is that, or you can give me a different idea in case you have it, Camila. So what is, right, for you, imperative? What is an imperative, and what is an example of an imperative, Camila?
Well, for me, an imperative is something that we use to give orders. Like, for example, do your homework or don't lie to me. We use it like for giving orders or instructions or warnings.
Thank you very much, Camila. Okay, great. Now I think we're getting closer, and I think actually we got there. Yes, remember that one. Imperatives, right, are going to be those commands, those orders that we give to another person. We are not included there, right? It's not for us. It's only for another person or a group of people, right? And the examples, yes, we don't use the subject in this idea. The subject is there, but we don't write it. It's always you, but you don't say you unless you have emphasis, right, on one structure. But here is only do your homework, right? Complete the assignments, take the tests, don't do this, don't do that. So it can be affirmative or negative. Base form, right? Complete, finish, take, or it can be the negative idea with don't. Always don't. Don't write there. Don't finish yet. Don't come. Don't do that. And so on and so forth, right? So good. And those are imperatives. To start with this idea, please, as Camila was saying, we have these imperatives, right, in many of the different contexts. It can be instructions, orders from professor to the students, from the boss to some employees, from mother to a daughter to a son, right? Different kind of situations. So please, to start this one, I imagine that some of you are already here, but if you are not here, I'm sharing the link. It's in the chat. Let's go to that document, please. This is going to be very simple. Let's only write two imperatives, all right? Two imperative sentences, please. One affirmative and one negative. That's it. All right, this is very short, so we're only going to have 1 minute to do it, to start with the lesson. This is short one. Today we're going to work 2 lessons. So let's finish this very quickly. 1 minute, please. One affirmative imperative sentence and one negative imperative sentence, please. And again, any questions, let me know. All right, so let's take a look. Again, it can be very short. If you can add extra information, it will be good, right? Complete all the assignments that I gave you now, right? Finish or take the test. And you can add any other words, but again, if it's short, it also works for this purpose. So I'm taking a look, and we're going to start reading some of your ideas. And I'm starting with you, please, Camila. Read your two ideas, please, affirmative and negative.
Well, the first one is give me your money, and the second one is don't touch that. It is hot.
Okay, thank you very much, Camila. So good, right? In this case, we are only going to take into account the imperative. So it is not something extra, but the imperative itself, it's only going to be don't touch that, right? Don't touch that. So as it is not to be realized, it's something apart from the imperative, because in don't touch that, the subject is you, and in it is hot, the subject is it. So in that case, we're not going to use the comma. Divide those ones with a semicolon. All right, don't touch that, semicolon, it would be it's hot. That's the only thing. Thank you very much, Camila. I'm going now with you. You have it, reader. Read your two ideas, please, reader.
Try it one more time. Don't talk in class.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have everything we need. A reader, thank you. The next one is going to be Mauricio, please. Let's read your ideas. And let's remember, it has to be one affirmative instruction and one negative instruction using imperatives, right? Only imperatives.
Teacher, I have two affirmative sentences.
Okay, let's read the two, please. We're going to see what happens in number 2.
Okay, go and take the opportunity, and let's do your homework.
Okay, thank you very much, Mauricio. No, again, good. Now, the only difference is that number 1, yes, number 1, it's an imperative, but number 2, it's not considered an imperative. Number 2, it's considered an invitation. What is the difference between an imperative and an invitation with let's, or a suggestion, right? It's suggestion, invitation. With go and take the opportunity, it's not me, okay? You have to do it, and I'm telling you, do it, okay? You go and you take the opportunity. But if I say let's, I usually use let's for these situations, suggestions in which you include yourself. When you say, let's do your homework, I'm saying you and I, okay? You and I, we together, we are going to do your homework. All right, that's the difference. And as in that case, Mauricio, in let's, it's you and I, then that's not an imperative, because imperatives only work with you, okay? Only with you. So let's is something different. And also with let's, this is something very important. You always need to use the apostrophe, because if not, it's going to have a different meaning and it wouldn't work there. So that being the case, Mauricio, what would be your second instruction, your second imperative in negative? And in negative, you always use don't. What do you say?
Don't do your homework.
Okay, you can say, right? Hey, I took a look at the exercises and they are incorrect. They are wrong. Please don't do your homework. I'm going to assign something later on. So good. Let's try that one over there, please, Mauricio. And let me know if you have any questions about the explanation about the difference between imperatives and let's. Do you have any questions or doubts?
No, teachers, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Adriana, let's continue with you, please. Read your two ideas.
In your room, don't place soccer in the living room.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, if I don't see any observations, that's it. Thank you. Rodrigo, let's do the same with you, please.
Don't leave the house without permission. Stand in the line, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Good. I think we are working very well. Again, we can have extra words, but the main idea is don't leave and stand, right? Those are the imperatives. Thank you. And Gilbert, what about you? Only imperatives. Remember, Gilbert, in this part, we are only working first with imperatives. Write a sentence, do your homework, clean your room,
Okay.
don't listen to music. So what do you say? What are the instructions, Gilbert?
Ahí te la correo. I'm confused.
Okay, don't worry. But give me now, for example, what instruction can you give me now, only speaking?
Go to a party.
Good. And one negative, please.
I don't like listen to music.
But remember, it's instruction. The first one is good. Remember, you don't have subjects in imperatives,
Okay.
Gilbert, so
Not play game.
okay, don't, right? You can say, don't listen to that music, right? Don't listen to that music. No escuches esa música. Don't play that game. No juegues ese juego, right? So any of those, Gilbert. So again, go to the party. That's an order, right? You go to the party. And don't play that game. Let's try those ones, please, Gilbert. All right? Right. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I'm finishing up, sorry, Joanna. Let's read your ideas, please.
Wash the dishes, don't forget the dinner.
Good. Very good. Again, no observation, Joanna. It seems to be good. Now that you remember what imperatives are, right? They are very simple. If you realize, this is a very, very simple structure. Base form and complement in affirmatives, right? I'm not writing and I'm not teaching that one because you know that already, okay? You should know that. And in negative, don't plus the base form and the complement, all right? That's something that you know or you have to remember. But again, if you have questions, again, I'm going to help you. Anyway, as most of you have that idea, and I think also some of you are still working on that, but you have it. What is the difference? This is for you, Rodrigo. Read the entire slide, please, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
What is the difference? The teacher told us complete the assignment. The eyes. The teacher told us to complete the assignment.
Good. Thank you, Rodrigo. So yes, right? But besides that one, Rodrigo, in general, it says, what is the difference? So what differences do you see between 1 and 2 in terms of writing, in terms of structure, in terms of conjugation? What is the difference, or what are the differences here? What do you say?
The first is like an order. I don't know. In the second, the sentence is only one. In the first is like 2 sentences, but with imperative.
Okay, good. And it's good to start like that, Rodrigo. Thank you. Yes, in the first one, we have this imperative, right? Complete the assignments, right? So I tell you, right? Please complete the assignments until Friday, 11:59 p.m. Please take the test, right? You have to. It's important to, right? I tell you those things in many ways, but I can use imperatives. And in the second one, if you realize there's only one big thing that is changing in terms of structure, instead of complete, it says to complete. So I'm going to try to ask more, because the first idea that Rodrigo is giving us is correct. But why? And that's going to be to you, reader. Reader, what other differences do you see in number 1 and number 2? Rodrigo said in number 1 we have like 2 sentences or two ideas. First, the teacher told us, and then we have imperative, complete assignments. In number two, we only have one big idea. But what other details can you notice, reader?
On the first, someone is told what the teacher ordered to be done, and the second sentence, someone is told what the teacher said in the past, maybe.
Okay, thank you very much, reader. Good, we're getting closer. Yes, it's kind of related to that. The tense, in both cases, we have told us, right? But in the first one, we keep the idea intact, complete the assignment. So we can say that's still present, okay? But it's not present, but we can have that idea. So I agree with you, reader. And in the second one, we are already conjugating that idea for now, something that happened before. But again, let's get in closer. One more, okay? One more. And this is going to be for you, Adriana. Adriana, in number two and number one and two, what extra difference do you see in terms of punctuation marks? Okay, only in terms of punctuation marks. What do you say?
The comma teacher in the first sentence is direct speech, so we said the same idea of the teacher. For example, complete the segments. And the second sentence is indirect speech, so I don't need comma because we can use the tense past. For example, the teacher told us to complete the segments.
Okay, good, very good, right? And don't forget that one's going to be aside, right? Assignments, but your explanation was very good, and you're right, Adriana. You're right. DS means direct speech. It means that in number one, that person is using the exact words that the teacher said or told us, right? The teacher told us complete the assignments, right? Quotation marks. Remember, if you're going to practice that with me, I'm going to make you memorize, all right? Quotation marks, quotation mark, or quotes, the quotes. And in number two, it's the same. The teacher said, complete the assignments, but I'm not using the exact words. So I don't use comma, I don't use quotation marks. I only say infinitive. When I use imperative, instead of the imperative, you have to use infinitive, because imperative is in the base form, complete. But in the infinitive, you say to complete. That's the only difference, okay? There is no like a big difference. This is only for you to know. If you're going to use the exact words, quotation mark and comma, right? Of course, comma, quotation mark, the idea, quotation mark. If you are not going to use the exact words, don't use comma, don't use quotation marks, and you only use the infinitive and the rest of the idea. All right, now we're going to learn reported speech. This is for you, please, Joanna. Let's read this slide, please, Joanna.
We use reported speech when we want to tell someone that someone say. We usually use a reporting verb, e.g., say, tell, ask, etc., and then change the tense of what was actually said in direct speech.
Thank you, Joanna. So in other words, again, here, I don't care about this entire definition, just bear in mind, keep in mind the following. We are going to use the words that other persons, or other people said. That's it. Okay, you're going to use someone else's words. Here we have some examples. We're not going to work on this, this is going to be a different lesson, okay? Tenses, present, past, future. This lesson is only about imperatives. But let's analyze what happens in general. And this is for you, Gilbert, please. The examples. Let's read the examples, Gilbert.
Number one, Mary said that her family has traveled. John told us that he was playing the piano. Mariana said that she would complete the assignment. They told to class that the exam had been cancelled.
Thank you, Gilbert. And again, one more time, only this word, please, Gilbert. It's going to be assignment. Let's repeat that one. Good. There you go. Thank you, Gilbert. So again, this is extra. This is what you do in report the speech. All right, report the speech or indirect speech. And again, this is something we're going to do, but not now. This is going to be in Unit 3 or Unit 4, I believe so. All right, but it's in one of those two. Today, we need to focus only on these imperatives. Okay, only the imperatives, which is very easy. You're going to see. So, direct and reported speech with imperatives. This is what we care about. And this is going to be for you, please, Camila. Let's read everything, please.
Direct and reported speech with imperatives. In this topic, we will work with the direct and reported speech with imperatives. For example, direct speech. The principal said, "Go to your classrooms." Indirect or reported speech. The principal said to go to our classrooms.
Thank you, Camila. So that's it. Direct speech, DS, right, is when you use the exact words. So the principal, right? Go to your classrooms. So direct speech, you are going to say, the principal said, comma, quotation mark, go to your classrooms, period, quotation mark. Okay, it has to be in that order. Indirect speech or reported speech is when you don't use the exact words, but you make that idea part of your sentence and you say, the principal said to go to our classrooms. And that's the only thing, okay? That's the only thing that you do for imperatives. The only thing. But we're going to practice at least the order of the punctuation marks in direct speech and in reported speech so that you know that very well. And in the lesson about all the tenses, it's going to be easier if you work this without any problems. To work the direct speech, and this is something we are going to do now, we need to know this idea, this structure very well. And this is going to be for you, Mauricio, please, direct speech.
Direct speech. For direct speech, do the following. Imperative, the teacher, do your homework. Direct speech, who plus say, tell, ask, plus to whom, plus comma or colon, plus quotation mark, plus capital letter, the exact words, plus period, plus quotation mark. The teacher told us, do your homework.
Thank you, Mauricio. So this is what you have to do, all right? So again, as we are working with punctuation marks with me, please, you have to follow this in detail. So who? The teacher. Say, tell, ask in past. Okay, we're going to work in past to work some details. Told. To whom? Us. Right? To whom? Us, me, you, her, him. Comma or colon. Here in English, it's more common to use comma. All right. In Spanish, we use a lot of colon here, but in English, we use comma. But both are okay. And yes, colon can be more formal, but comma is more, okay, more commonly used. So comma, quotation mark, right? Comma, quotation mark. The exact words, right? You need the exact words. Do your homework. period, and quotation mark. So I'm just going to give you one extra example over here, as I always do. And this is what you're going to do with your both ideas. And I'm going to show you what happens also in negative. Let's say that the instruction or the imperative is, right, read that article. Okay, Luis, I'm Luis, and I'm saying read that article. This is just in order to have everything clear. This is the imperative. So we need to work the directed speech. So who? Luis. What verb? Say, tell. If I want to say if I want to mention or say the person to whom I said that, it's better to use tell. But I'm going to give you the two options. Told, I don't know, right? The student, comma, quotation mark, capital letter. Read the article. Period, quotation mark, right? Sorry, quotation mark. And again, if I don't want to mention to whom, you can use also that with say, but it's better if you use say. So said. Luis said the same idea, right? Read the article. Period and, sorry, I'm not used to this keyword, and quotation mark. And there you go. These are your two options. Let's do it, please. Okay, with your two examples, everybody, Adriana, Gilbert, Camila, Mauricio, Reader, Rodrigo, go to this document and give me this. Write the direct speech of your two imperatives. Okay, let's do it, please. We're going to give ourselves also 1 minute because you have to use the same words, and we continue. You can use your names here, right? Joanna, Adriana, Camila, or you can use other persons' names. Let's do it, please. All right, and to avoid confusions, I'm going to use directly the past over here so that you know that you have to use them. And the most common verbs, those are better. All right, so I'm going to see how you're doing. We're going to start checking them. And we go to the next part. Camila, let's begin with you, please.
Okay. The examples are: the thief said, "Give me your money. My mom told me, don't touch that. It's hot."
Very good. Just to practice again, and this is going to be for everybody. How do you call to these punctuation marks, Camila?
Quoted.
Okay,
Quoted
we have
marks.
options. Good, right? It can be the quoted, quotes, or quotation marks. Right. Thank you, Camila. Good. Let's go to the next one, and it's going to be a reader. I think you have yours, reader. And again, this is just for practicing. Reader, and this is going to be for everybody. you're going to read also the punctuation marks. Okay, you're going to say, my mother said, comma, quotation mark, turn on the TV, and so on and so forth. Okay, just for practicing, please, reader. And let's do it. Let's read your ideas.
Okay. My mother said, comma, quotation mark, turn off the TV. Peter told his brother, comma, quotation mark, don't use the bicycle.
Thank you very much, reader. Good. In both cases, it's only missing one thing, all right? And again, I'm going to insist on this one because later on it's going to be important, and also for Pearson, the period inside the last quotation mark, right? And that's going to be good. So TV, period, quotation mark, bicycle, period, quotation mark, all right? Just that one, reader. Thank you very much. The same with you, please, Mauricio. And let's follow the same logic, please. Read also the punctuation marks just to practice and to remember their name. Let's do it, please.
Okay, teacher. My mother said, comma, quotation mark, go and take the opportunity, point, quotation mark. The teacher told us, comma, quotation mark, don't do your homework, point, quotation mark.
Thank you, Mauricio. Only one detail, only in numbers, we're going to call that mark point, all right? For example, $5.3 million, right? But in grammar, you have to call it period. If not, it's going to be incorrect, all right? So it's going to be period quotation mark, all right?
Okay, teacher.
Great, thank you very much. The next one is with you, Adriana. Yes, this is yours. Let's read yours, please. Adriana, the same idea. Read also the punctuation marks, please.
My mom told me, comma, quotation mark, clean your room.
That's period.
That's period and quotation mark. And the doctor told me, comma, quotation mark, take your pills early, period and quotation mark.
Thank you, Adriana. Very good. Rodrigo, the same logic, please, including the punctuation marks just to practice.
Engineer told the workers, comma, quotation mark, work harder, period, quotation mark. My mother said, quotation mark, go home, period, quotation mark.
Okay, thank you very much, Rodrigo. In that one, let me see, perhaps, because in the previous case, right, I made that mistake. No, it's over there. So the only thing that it's missing in number 2, in your second example, Rodrigo, would be the comma after set. Okay, then everything seems to be great. That's it, Rodrigo. Good, great, thank you. Gilbert, let's continue with you, please.
He told the father, listen to music. He said the father read the book.
Okay, Gilbert, so we're going to read one more time, but with these corrections. Remember, you need periods before the quotation mark, and also here, the period is outside, but the rule says that it has to be inside, okay? Always inside. So you're going to read it this way, please, Gilbert. He told the father, comma, quotation mark, listen to music, period, quotation mark. Read it both one more time, please, Gilbert, using the punctuation marks as well.
Okay. He said the father read the book.
But one more time, read the punctuation marks also, Gilbert. Number 6, let's start with number 6. He told the father, comma, quotation mark, listen to music, period, quotation mark. Read everything like that, please, Gilbert.
Okay. He told the father, comma, listen to music, period.
Period, quotation mark. And in this one, if you're going to say the word say, you have to use to. All right, I didn't say that. Why? Because it's preferable that when you use say, in many cases, Google, for example, or many other in tests, they are going we are going to consider that as weird. So my recommendation, if you use say and the person, you have to say said to the father, or simply say said. Just that one. To finish, please, Gilbert, let's read one more time. How do you call to this mark? How do you say this in English, this mark? Gilbert? Quotation mark. All right, let's repeat that one, please. Quotation mark. One more time, please.
Quotation mark.
Good. And this one, how do you call this in English?
Point.
But remember, point only numbers. 5.6. No, in sentences, period.
Period.
Periods. That's it. Thank you. Good. And you were finishing yours, Joanna. Let's finish with your ideas, please. Also, Joanna, don't forget, please, read also the punctuation mark, right? Comma, quotation mark, period. Let's do it, please.
Anna said to her son, comma, quotation mark, be careful, period, quotation mark. My mom told me, comma, quotation mark, good job, period, quotation mark.
Very good. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you very much. Great. And again, right, I didn't tell you about set, but if you're using set with an object, yes, you have to use to. With tell, you directly use the object. With say, you need that too. Again, there are some rules that later on I'm going to teach you about it. I remember that Rodrigo asked about it in previous classes. So don't forget, I'm going to teach you about transitive, intransitive verbs. But in the meantime, again, it's better if you try only to memorize that logic. Tell us or say to us. All right, that's it. Good. Let me go here and the examples just for practicing one more time. And this is going to be for you. Give me 1 second. Good. Adriana, please, let's read these examples.
Examples. Mom, eat all the vegetables. Mom said, eat all the vegetables. The boss, hand in your papers. The boss told us, hand in your papers. The principal, come to my office. The principal said, come to my office.
Thank you, Adriana. So this is just to verify how you did it. First, I could have shown you this, right? But it's better if you try it yourself just with explanation. And I think you didn't have any problems. Just be careful, all right? Very few mistakes. Don't forget about the comma and don't forget about the period inside. Again, this is for the ones who perhaps are going to take the TOEFL or any other international test. And if you have writing exercises and you're going to work with reported speech, or not only reported speech, but citations, okay, direct speech or citations. In that case, you have to use quotation marks. And this rule also applies to that. The period is always inside, okay, period, quotation mark. If it's a comma, also inside, comma, quotation mark, semicolon, quotation mark, and the next part. For example, in a novel, right, you have one word, you continue with your own words, and then you have another quotation and you follow that logic, okay? But the main thing, the order of those punctuation marks. Now, this one, I'm going to make the change one more time. I'm going to add that one so that you don't forget. Set to, optional, or directly out. Those are the options, right? Good. This is going to be for you, please, Camila. Reported speech. Let's read it, please.
For reported speech, do the following. Imperative. The teacher. Come, do your homework. Don't copy. Indirect speech. Who plus said to or told plus to whom plus verb in infinitive or in negative not to plus complement plus any changes in possession and time reference. For example, the teacher told us to do our homework. The teacher told us not to copy.
Thank you, Camila. So this is reported speech. Very well. Now, if you realize here, you don't use comma, you don't use quotation mark, you change the base form of the instruction of the imperative to, also in this case, do, to infinitive, to do. All right, so you say, the teacher told us to do our homework. And that's it. In negative, be careful because you made some mistakes, right? You were saying, for example, sometimes if you're using infinitive, to not copy, right? But in this case, you have to say not to copy. All right, so instead of don't copy, it's going to be the teacher told us not to copy instead of don't copy. And that's it. All right. Don't forget that if you have possession, possessive adjectives, or any type of a possession reference, you have to be careful, right? Do your homework. That your is going to change to our, right? Because it's for me or for us in this case, right? With this logic, only following this logic to see how you do it, please. You're going to do this, the report of the speech, but please, to be sure of the changes that you are going to do, work with the same examples, please. For example, in Camila's case, I think she's using the same examples. Yes, give me your money and don't touch that. It's hot, right? She has to work with that reported speech. Okay, you can start doing it, Camila. In your case, Joanna, right? Be careful and good job. But remember, it was one in negative. So try to use, instead of that one, Joanna, try to work the reported speech with these imperatives, Joanna. Okay? Wash the dishes and don't forget the dinner. With these two, please, Joanna, work your reported speech. Okay? Infinitive and the next part. All right? You can start working on that also, Joanna. Reader, the same. To you, you can use your two ideas. Turn off the TV, don't use the bicycle. With those ones, please, reported speech. You can also start working on that. Mauricio, yes, both work as well. Use the same, please, Mauricio. Go and take the opportunity. Don't do your homework for the reported speech. This is yours, right? Adriana, yes. In your case, Adriana, also, number 2, change that one and use the negative, okay? Use those two for your reported speech, please, Adriana. Clean your room and don't play soccer in the living room, to see how you change don't to negative in reported speech. All right, you can also start working. In your case, Rodrigo, the same. Try to use these two in the reported speech, please, Rodrigo. Don't leave the house without permission and stand in line, sorry. Okay, with those two, please, you reported speech. So again, I can see the changes. And finally, Gilbert, also with these two, not with number 6 and 7, with number 4 and 5. With those two, work the reported speech. All right, so I think I said that to everybody so that you have the affirmative idea and the negative idea. I want to see how you do it. Let's do it, please. Again, we're going to give ourselves 1 minute or 1 minute and 30 seconds. Any questions, let me know, please. Okay, 1 minute and 30 seconds. I think that most of you are already there. Again, don't forget, in affirmative, you use only infinitive. If it's do your homework, it's going to be to do. If it's take the quiz, it's going to be to take. No commas, no quotation marks, right? No commas, no quotation marks. As in the example, right? This is the example. Do it as in the example. Now, let's start checking in that order, please, as well as we were doing it. So, Camila, let's start with you, please.
The thief told Vanessa to give him her money. My mom told me not to touch that because it was hot.
Very good. Great. I think I agree with everything. In the next part, as you are adding because as part of your explanation, which is good, because it's not going to need a comma. All right. So let's not use that comma in that case, because that's going to make the connection between them without any punctuation mark. And great, you changed simple present to simple past. That's it, Camila. I don't have any observations. I don't know if you have any questions or comments. Let me know.
Teacher, everything is clear.
Great, thank you. Then I'm going to work with you, Joanna. Yours are also ready, please. Let's read yours.
He told us to wash the dishes. My mom told me not to forget the dinner.
Very good. Very, very good. No observations there, Joanna. In affirmative, infinitive, and the negative infinitive when you see don't. Any questions or comments about it, Joanna?
No, teacher.
Good. I'm asking now because actually that's the lesson. All right, this is the lesson. And as you can see, it's not hard. You only need to be careful with the punctuation marks in the direct speech. Afterwards, you won't have any problems. This is your reader. Let's do the same, please, reader.
My mother told me to turn off the TV. Peter told his brother not to use the bicycle.
Okay, good. Again, no observations. It's working very good, reader. Any questions about this lesson? Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Mauricio, let's continue with you. Let's do the same. Let's read it, please.
Okay. My mother told us to go and take the opportunity. The teacher told us not to do the homework.
Very good. Thank you, Mauricio. Again, it's working good. Now here, I can tell you something extra, Mauricio. When you have a list of verbs like go and take, you have two options. The infinitive can be only in the first verb, which is correct. And the other option is to give the infinitive to all the verbs in the list. For example, it can be to go, comma, to be ready, comma, and to take the opportunity. Right? If that's the case, you apply the infinitive to all of the verbs or only to one as you're doing, which is correct. That's only an option, Mauricio. Do you have any questions about it? Because it's correct what you're doing.
No, teacher, it was my question.
Good, and that's optional. In the list of verbs, all of them with infinitive or all of them with gerund or all of them with the base form or at least one of them, the one at the beginning, all right?
Okay, teacher.
Good, thank you. Adriana, let's continue with you, please.
My mom told me that I must clean my room. My uncle told us not to play soccer in the living room.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, what you're doing in number 11 is valid, but in this case, Adriana, it's like your mother told you, right? You must clean your room, but it was not her words. To keep the idea that it was imperative, what can you change in number 11 to keep it as an imperative in this reported speech, Adriana? What do you say? What change can you do? Because if you say that I must, those are words, right, that were not mentioned, and that's like a complete sentence. But here you only need to conjugate clean. What changes can you do in number 11, Adriana? What do you say?
Must or do.
In this case, you don't need anything. Remember the rule. Again, what you're doing is not incorrect, but if you want to work with with imperatives, look, the affirmative imperative is do your homework. And the reported speech is going to be the teacher told us to do. Okay, so the main verb, only for this case, Adriana, for practicing this, the main verb is clean. So the only thing that you're going to do with clean is change the base form to imperative. So my mom told me to clean my room. If you say that in English, we understand that you were talking about imperative. Okay, clean your room. Now in this case, what other change can you make over there? Is it going to be still my, or do you need another change there, Adriana? What do you say? Actually, you already did the change, right?
Sorry, teacher, yo pienso que no.
Yes, but actually you already did it, right? Because here it was clean your room. And now here you changed that to my room, which is very good. Okay, you change it. So the two changes that you did here, Adriana, which are correct, sorry, the first one would be to clean. Okay, so instead of that I must clean, which is good, but that's not imperative, you only say to clean. And the second change that you did, Adriana, which is correct, you change your room to my room, because in this case, you are talking about yourself, right? That's it. My main correction is over here only, Adriana, to clean. I don't know if you have any questions about that correction there. Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Good. Again, this was only the first time that I saw that word, that type of word, in the possessive way. And it's interesting, right? Be careful. If it's yours or your, it's going to be my or his. It depends on the context. Rodrigo, let's continue with you, please.
My mother told me not to leave the house without permission. He told us to stand in the line.
Okay. Again, I don't have any observations, not to leave and to stand, negative, affirmative. Do you have any questions about this lesson, Rodrigo?
Yes. In imperatives, it's not correct. Put must, have, can in any.
No, yes, actually, the difference is going to be imperatives is only the verb in the base form. Okay, that's an imperative. Do your homework, come here, join me, even if it's polite. Okay, with must, it's not going to be called imperatives, it's going to be called obligation. And at the end, they can be the same, right? If I say, do your homework, or if I say, you must do your homework. The difference is that imperative is always going to be for you, only you, okay? You do your homework. But the obligation, the models like must, okay, models like must for obligation, they can work with any subject. For example, he must do his homework. He must do his homework. And as you have another subject, in that case, Rodrigo, it's not going to work in the same way because you need other changes. You have to change sometimes the subject. You have to change also must. It's not going to be must. It's going to change to had to. Okay, and other changes. That goes to the next lesson, Rodrigo. If you don't use imperatives, the base form of the verb, and you use must, other models, or other tenses, there are other rules that we need to follow that we're going to learn in Unit 3, Rodrigo. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Great, you're welcome. So again, this only applies to imperatives, and imperatives are only one type, all right? It's like the affirmative one and the negative one, but only one type, which is do your homework or don't do your homework. And finally, Gilbert, let's read your ideas, please, Gilbert.
My father told us to go to a party, and my brother told us not to listen to music.
Correct. To go and not to listen. Affirmative, negative, and again, this only applies to imperatives. That's it, Gilbert. Do you have any questions about it? Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So there you go. That is reported speech with imperatives. This is something extra. Okay, as you were able to see in imperatives, you don't see these words too often. But in case you see them, this is something you're going to apply in the lesson that I was mentioning to Rodrigo, and also I think it was to Camila as well, right? Talking about order changes. But here, have in mind and keep in mind the following. If you say do your homework, you're not going to say, right, my mother told me to do your homework. No, it's going to be, my mother told me to do my homework. Fix my car, I'm not going to say the mechanic, right, told him perhaps about a man, right, told him to fix what? His car or her car, because I'm talking about a man or a woman. So if you see those details, change the possessive adjectives or the possessive pronouns. Time expressions. If you see tomorrow in your imperative, right? For example, do it for tomorrow. Do it for tomorrow. You're not going to say, he told us to do it for tomorrow. No, you're going to say, he told us to do it for the following day, for the next day. Okay, because that tomorrow, it doesn't make sense if you're telling that the next day or I don't know how much time after that. Yesterday, the previous day, next week, the following week, now and then. Again, this is extra, but you're going to apply this when we get to the lesson that I'm mentioning. It's going to be, again, reported speech, but with tenses and with modals like must, for example, or have to. That's it. We already practiced. Now today I would like to work only with one extra thing. We're not going to work with this writing practice, all right, today. I want to work with this introduction so that on Friday we finish working with this topic, which is relative clauses. And on Friday we're going to have a more complex and interesting writing exercise and speaking exercise as well. Okay, so let's begin with the introduction for this topic. And I'm going to start with you this time, Rodrigo. All right. Again, you can tell me whatever you understand by this title, relative clauses. What do you think of, all right, when you read these two words, relative clauses? What is structure or what thing do you think we're going to learn here, Rodrigo? Any idea, any clue about it?
More or less, I understood that they are words that we can use when we want refer to person or things, maybe.
Very good. Great, great. These are going to be, we have certain words, right? And I'm going to mention those, who and which. Those are the two most common ones, right? Who, which. And you use them to talk about, and actually more than talking about just in general, to describe people or objects. And these are also going to be called like adjective clauses, okay? Relative clauses or adjective clauses. And why adjectives? Because you know that adjectives describe something, that it can be a person, it can be an object, it can be an animal. So good. Now, I'm going to keep going with you, Camila. What else can you add to Rodrigo's answer, which was correct? Relative clauses is related to these words that we use to talk about people or objects. What else? What else can you tell us about relative clauses, Camila?
Maybe that when we use them, we try to explain this person as a pronoun or as an adjective.
Okay, okay, good. What are the options that you have? I mentioned the two options, right, that are formal. who, and which. But what other, at least one other option that you have besides who and which? What is that?
Whose or that?
Okay, good. And the last one, also for you, Camila, to finish that one. In which case do we use whose?
When we're talking about when something is from someone whose teacher is this, for example.
Good, exactly. So it's related to possession, right? Great. Thank you, Camila. Great. So you have a very good idea, as I can see. Relative clauses, all right, are going to be clauses, not only words. Of course, they start with a word like which, who, that, and whose. But those are connected to a clause. And the clause is like a complete idea that is telling us something about one noun. And remember, a noun can be Peter. Peter is a noun. Joanna is a noun. A mouse is a noun. A computer is a noun. A school is a noun. The party is a noun. Okay, a noun is everything that can be named. With that idea, let's start with the introduction. This one is for you, please, reader. Read this slide, please, and try to give me the solution for what they are asking.
Okay, teacher. Let's do the following. Turn these two sentences into one. That's the house. The house is very expensive.
Now, how do you do that, reader? How do you turn these two sentences into only one sentence?
I don't know, teacher, that house.
What could it be? My suggestion there, reader, is that you can use the words that or which to connect the two ideas. How can you use that or which to connect them? And the second clue is you don't have to repeat the word that is being repeated. For example, the house. How do you do it in that way, reader?
The house that's I don't know, teacher.
It's okay. All right, that's fine. It's okay, reader. Thank you again. And again, right? Not every time. I always call your names, right? It's not that you need to give the answer, and it's not that you need to tell me everything in a correct way, right? Of course, we're learning this, so we're going to learn together. Perhaps your partners have the answer. They are going to tell me, and then for the ones who don't know or perhaps are only confused, right? You're going to see that it's not that hard. And it's only remembering or learning something that is not that difficult when you get that little trick. Okay, it's just that. This is going to be also for you, please, Adriana. How do you turn these two sentences into one, Adriana? What do you say?
Teacher, ¿puedo añadir palabras?
Yes, you can add words and you can also take away some words.
Y pueden ser, o sea, puedo añadir verbos o no.
You could, Adriana, you could add verbs, but actually it's not necessary. It's enough, my thing, okay? You can do that process, Adriana, by eliminating two words. And I'm going to tell you, those two words are the house in number 2. You don't need to mention one more time the house. And by adding only one more word, but it's going to be one word, which can be which, that, or who. Okay, so you take away words and you add only one word. What do you say? What can you do with that?
I bought a house very expensive.
Okay, one more time, please, Adriana.
I bought a house very expensive.
Okay, in that case, but actually you're using that as an adjective, right? It can be, the correct way for that one would be, I bought a house, or I bought a very expensive house, right? And that's one sentence, good. But how do you do it keeping the same idea? You have to keep this, Adriana. You have to keep, that's the house, and you need to keep the idea that is very expensive. How do you connect those two into one? What do you say? Starting with that's the house. That has to be the starting of your sentence.
A ver, necesito mantener la idea de que la casa es muy cara. Solamente eso.
And this one as well. And this has to be the beginning, Adriana. That's the house. It has to be the beginning of your idea. And also, is very expensive. Those things have to be there, Adriana. That's the house. It has to be there. Is very expensive. It has to be there. So how do you join these two ideas?
No sé. The house is very expensive.
It's like number 2. Don't worry. Again, we're going to do it together. All right, Adriana? Thank you very much. One more. Okay, let me try with one more. I know that some of you know this. Some of you are learning, but you're going to see that it's very simple. I'm going to try with you, Mauricio. So what do you say, Mauricio? What do we do to join, to turn these two sentences into only one?
That's the house that is very expensive.
Okay, good, good. That's it, okay? That's correct. Now, can you explain, Mauricio, what you are doing there? What is the process that you're following? You can explain a little bit what you're doing to get to that result, Mauricio.
Okay, I take the common object of both sentence, that is the house, and I maintain the rest of the sentences. For example, I think the important part is in the second sentence, that is very expensive, because we can't omit that that fact.
Very good. And why the decision of using that? Can we use that in any case or only in special cases, Mauricio? What do you say?
I think it's for almost everything, teacher. I choose it because it is an object, and it can be possible to use it with others relative verbs, like personal verbs like whom, whose.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mauricio. Great, great. Now, if you were able to listen to it, it is a very good logic, very good process that you can follow. That's the house. The house is very expensive, right? Imagine that I'm just saying this, right? And you don't know what I'm talking about. I say, that's the house. And you tell me, what house? What are you talking about, right? ¿De qué estás hablando, right? What house? And I say something important about that house. As Mauricio said, this is an important fact, a very important fact to know what house we're talking about. Then the house is very expensive. Now, the only thing we do to connect these two ideas, again, in order not to change a lot of things, you only delete the repeated noun, right? The house. And to connect these two ideas, you're going to use, most commonly, as Mauricio was saying, that can be used in any case, almost any case. For possession, it's going to be hard, okay? But here in this lesson, for people and for objects, yes, that. Or if you want to be very formal, you're going to use which, right? Which. All right, so that's the house which is very expensive, or that's the house that's very expensive. Okay, so that's the solution to that problem. You only see the common word, as Mauricio was saying, and you use this. This is a relative clause. Okay, this is the relative clause. I told you that you also call this what? Adjective clauses. Why is this an adjective? Because this information is describing the house, right? How the house is. This is information or description about the house. That's why we call this a relative clause that is related to this, or adjective clause that is describing this. Okay, so with that logic, so you know the answer. That's the house, and the house is very expensive. In one sentence would be, that's the house that is very expensive, or that's the house which is very expensive. Which is better in your tests, right? For formal English. That is informal. This one. I'm going to try to go this with you, please, Joanna. What about this, Joanna? He listened to the song. The song is in French and Spanish. How do you join these two ideas into only one sentence, Joanna?
He listened the song of who song is in French and Spanish.
Okay, we're not that far. Okay, instead of song, song is an object or song is a person, Joanna. What do you say? Because in this case, you're not talking about he, right? You're talking about the song, because you're doing good. Only details there, Joanna. But the song, is it object or is it a person, Joanna?
Object.
Good. So with objects, which one do you use, Joanna? Who or which for objects?
Which.
Good. Now, following that logic, do one more time, Joanna, but don't repeat the song. You can only mention the song one time. He listened to the song. What's next to that, Joanna? One more time, please.
Which is in French and Spanish.
Very good. Great. Thank you, Joanna. That's correct. He listened to the song. What song, right? I don't know what song you're talking about. I don't know which song you're talking about. So you tell me, he listened to the song that or which is in French and Spanish. So let's do it together. Very good. One more time, Joanna. So for song, we use which, no who, right? Because it's the song. Sorry. In order not to write everything, as you can realize, you use the same information. So song is an object. So you say which if you want to be formal. But if you are having a conversation and you are informal, we're always informal in conversations most of the time. You can say that. Both are correct, okay? He listened to the song that is in French and Spanish, informal, and if you want to be formal, he listened to the song which is in French and Spanish. And again, if you realize, you don't repeat the song, only one time. Like here, the house, only one time, right? We don't say, that's the house, which house is very expensive. No, that's the house, which is very expensive. He listened to the song, which is in French and Spanish. All right, and that's it. That is the introduction. Again, today we're only going to work on the introduction. On Friday, we're going to see in detail how to work with this. we're going to work with writing exercises and some other details. But let's take a look at the possibilities to work with this. This is going to be for you, please, Camila. Adjective or relative clauses.
When you want to identify nouns, use an adjective relative clause. He is the man. Which one? He is the man who was in the party last night. That is the clause. Which one? That is the house, which is very big.
Thank you, Camila. So here, again, this is key to understand this, okay? This is key, very important. Identify nouns. He's the man, right? If I tell you, I don't know, any of you, right? Mauricio, Joanna, and I tell you, hey, Mauricio, he's the man. And Mauricio says, what man, right? Which one? What are you talking about? And I give extra information. I give description, adjective, relative. He's the man who was in the party last night, right? So after the man, I give this. This is what we call, again, the adjective clause or the relative clause. Who was in the party last night? If I say something like, hey, that's the house, right? And Camila says, which one? What house? What are you talking about? And I say, that's the house, which is very big. Remember, I told you about a very big house. And Camila may say, oh, yes, you're right. Oh, wow, it's really big. Okay? So any idea that is not clear by itself, cualquier idea que no esté clara por sí misma, necesita un adjective clause. All right? That's something you need to understand. The man is not clear. What man? El hombre. What man? The house, la casa. What house? Again, extra information. Okay? And as you can see here, with people, the man, it's a person. So you use who. With objects, the house is an object. So you use which. So we're going to try to work with this also. And this is for you, reader, please. Let's read this slide, reader.
Which, who, whom, whose. I like the car. They are driving the car. I like the car which they are driving. Who, I saw the person. The person studied with us last month. I saw the person who studied with us last month.
Thank you, reader. Now, today, just to finish today, and then again on Friday, we're going to work on the joining idea. Please do the following. You're going to write 2 examples, but you have to do this, please. You have to do what I'm going to show you. You have to write 2 sentences per example. One for objects, and you have to write something like this. And in both cases, please, everybody, you need to repeat one idea. I like the car. What car? They are driving the car. So I have more information about the car. And one example with 2 parts with people. I saw the person. It can be here, I saw the teacher. I saw the man, the woman, the girl, the boy, any profession, anything that is referred to a person. But it has to be general, okay? It has to be general. The car, the person, the man, the woman. That, all right? So let's try to do it. With that, we're going to finish today. And next class, we're going to use those examples, to practice what we're going to learn. Let's do it, please. 2 examples that have 2 parts. One with objects, the car, the party, the computer, any object, and one with people, the person, the man, the woman, the teacher, the engineer, any person. Okay, let's do it, please. We check that one and we finish. Only this, okay? Don't give me this. Don't give me the relative pronoun. Oh, sorry, the relative clause, the adjective clause. Don't do this. Only 2 examples separated and 2 examples separated. All right, let's do it, please. And in 2 minutes, we check your examples. They can be very short like this. I like the car, they are driving the car, period. I saw the person studied with us last month, period. Right, let's do it. All right, just one last thing, please. Remember that the second sentence, it gives some information about the first idea. I like the car. And then they are driving the car. So now I have more information about the car. What's the information? That they are driving it. Okay, so I saw the person. What else? I need more information about the person. So one more sentence about that person. The person studied with us last month. With that, we know something extra, so we can join those. All right, so I'm going to see how you're doing. Again, it's important to have these examples so that next class you'll learn how to connect them in case you have some questions about it. Let me go there and let me see your ideas. We're going to try to separate those ones, please. And Camila, I think you have yours over here. No, where it is? Yes, you're finishing. You're still doing that. Okay, don't worry. Let's finish the second one, please. Only 2 ideas that are separated, and try to use the same objects in both ideas. Okay, I'm going to give you this last example, and if we can, we work on that. But again, today, only as the introduction, you only need to write this. Look, you can say something. She is a girl. Okay, now this is my first one, guys. She is the girl. Now, here, this is the important object that I want to describe. Okay, the girl. So in the second sentence, okay, reader, Mauricio, Joanna, give me another sentence with the girl, more information about the girl. You can say, the girl, right? Sorry, the girl is very tall, you can say. And that's it. As you can see, in sentence 1 and sentence 2, I have the girl. Okay, that's very important. The same with objects, right? The same with objects. So you can say, it is the movie. All right, so I want to talk about the movie. We hear that they want to correct a movie. No, it's okay because it's incomplete. That's why I need an adjective clause. It's a movie. What movie? Right, the movie was very boring. And here I'm giving more information about the movie. Okay, so that's what you need, please. Two ideas like this, one with people and one with objects. And in the two ideas, you need one common thing. In this first is the girl. She's the girl. The girl is very tall. And in number two is the movie. It is the movie, and the movie was very boring. All right, that's the logic, please. Again, if you have that, it's going to be easier to work on Friday with what we're going to learn. So please, Camila, let's read your ideas for objects and people, please.
Okay. Matthew cooked pasta. The pasta was the best dish of the night. I met the mechanic that fixed Andres' car.
Okay, good, good. We're only going to do one thing because that is going to be like the pronoun already. Only try to use the active voice without the clause. So without that, so that you can use that word to connect number 3 with number 4. All right, just that. Thank you very much, Camila. So again, this is the introduction, but do you have any questions so far? Do you understand the logic of these two ideas being joined into one?
Yes, teacher, everything is clear.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to continue, please. Okay, good. I think you have yours, Joanna. I think they are also very good. Let's read your ideas, please, Joanna.
I fixed the computer that you are using. I said the lie about who her father is.
Okay. It's good. All right, you have two ideas. Fix the computer. What computer? Now, in order to do this a little bit even different, because if you say that computer that you are using, there you already have a pronoun, or sorry, a clause, okay, a relative clause. So let's use the sentence first as if it was not part of the clause. So you're going to say, you are using the computer. All right, and then when you join the two ideas, Joanna, you're going to have something similar to what you were saying. All right, so in this case, we have the computer here, and we have the computer here. It's correct. All right, again, what you were doing is correct, but it was already like connecting some ideas. Here, we are not connecting anything. I said that lie, good. Which lie, right? Which lie? The lie about who her father is. I don't have any observations about that one, Joanna. Do you have any questions about what we're doing? Do you understand the logic of working with two sentences to make them only one sentence? Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, and again, this is the introduction. We're going to learn very well how to do it on Friday, all right? This is something in advance because today it was only about imperative in reported speech. But as I knew it was going to be simple, right? We are working with this introduction. Reader, let's do the same with you, please. Let's read your idea.
This is the mask. That mask is so scary. He's the engineer. He's the job supervisor.
Okay, good. Just to be clear, in number 2, because he, I imagine, is the engineer, right? So you can say in parentheses that he is referring to the engineer, if I'm not wrong, right? A reader, is that he referring to the engineer, or is that a different person?
The engineer.
Is the engineer, right? Good. That's it then, reader. Again, do you have any questions about the logic that we're following so far to continue working on Friday? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So again, I'm marking this in bold so that you remember that you need to pay attention to those words. Mauricio, let's do the same with you, please.
I met Jose Carlos. Jose Carlos has found quantum motors. This is The car I was talking about, the car is an electrical 2021 model.
Okay, now in number two, in number one, I agree. This is going to be a special case, Mauricio. Okay, very briefly, why? Because this is a proper noun. It's not only a noun, it's a proper noun. And with proper nouns, we have a special rule with punctuation. But again, it applies to what we're doing, Mauricio, so it's good. But let me remind you that then you're going to use special punctuation marks as commas. In usual cases, we don't use commas. But in your case here, we're going to use commas. And I'm going to explain why. And here, let's try to only, here you're already using this. It would be correct. It's going to be complex. But in order to work the first part, my advice is going to be only to use the first idea. So you're going to connect, this is the car with the car is an electrical 2021 model to connect the two. And then perhaps we're going to join the third, but working ahead, Mauricio. All right. Do you have any questions about it? Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's it then. And last one, sorry, we have two more. Adriana, let's work with you, please.
You should choose a dress. You went to a party. I cook pizza. I want to buy cheese and tomatoes.
Okay, now my question here, very quickly, I know we're going to finish at least 30. Adriana, what is the common noun? Remember that you need nouns, okay? What is the common noun in number 13 in the two ideas? What do you say? Remember that you need, but she in this case is a pronoun, right? It's going to be special, but it's not going to work with she. You need in this case a pronoun to describe this. What do you say? Try to repeat, for example, dress, okay? In this case, we need a pronoun. So a dress, how can you repeat the word dress in the second part?
¿Cuál es la pregunta, teacher?
You need a noun, right? She is a pronoun. It's not a noun. Es un pronombre, no es un sustantivo. So you need a noun. For example, a dress. Ese es un sustantivo, a dress. Necesitas repetir uno de estos, Adriana. A dress, a party. Uno de esos dos tiene que repetirse en los dos, sí o sí. Which one do you want to repeat?
Yeah.
It can be, for example, a dress. Look at Irene and you can say, she went to a party with that dress. Okay, and in that case, you are repeating the dress. And in the example that we're going to use let me do this, for Friday, a dress is going to be that one. Okay, here, chooses, but I imagine that this is past, so it can be. Number 14, also we need one common thing, Adriana. What could it be?
I want to buy cheese and tomatoes for the...
Okay, one more time, please, Adriana. I couldn't hear that one.
I want to buy cheese and tomatoes for the pizza.
Okay. All right, and we're going to work with that one. And again, the only thing is that we need the noun, in this case, pizza, and the dress. Do you have any questions so far, Adriana? Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Please, Rodrigo, let's go with yours.
I need these sport shoes. The sport shoes are beautiful and expensive. I like meeting that girl. The girl works in the restaurant.
Good, very good. Here, the only correction that they are doing, I think it's for this. If this is plural, then it's going to be this, right, with es, that one. And in this one, they usually, even if it's only one type, sports is always going to be like in plural, all right? But the meaning is only singular in both cases, all right? The sports shoes and the sports shoes. That's it, Rodrigo. Again, any questions about this first part of the process? Let me know, please. Okay, thank you. And now we finish. Again, thanks for your patience, but I rather have this ready and clear so that with this element we can work on Friday. So Gilbert, please, let's read your ideas.
I like computer. It is the most expensive computer. She saw the thief. The thief was tall and fat.
Okay, good, good. Let's only repeat this word, please, Gilbert. It's going to be computers. Computers, exactly. And in this case, in number 10, only talk about one specific computer. All right, so you can say, I like that computer. Exactly. And then you're going to talk about that computer that is the most expensive, right? That's it, Gilbert. Any questions about this?
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. So again, thanks for being here. I know that we've used more time, but it's important that all of you have this before starting the next lesson on Friday. That will be it for today, guys. Any questions are going to be tomorrow in the private session, or it could be also on Friday when working that one. Let's fill out, please, the survey, and then you may leave the class. Have a good night and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, teacher.
Bye-bye.
See you,
Take care.
Bye
Take
bye,
care.
teacher.
Bye. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.